Have you ever felt like this? You hear a track like Fred Again's Delilah and you instantly know it's him. It sounds personal, fresh, and unmistakable. And then you ask yourself, how do artists create something that recognizable, that original? And then how do I find my own version of that without faking it or starting from scratch? That's what this video is all about. 3 real practical ways to shape your sound so that it actually feels like you. My name's Ben, and in my first year releasing music, I got some great streams and radio plays. But I still found myself looking at top artists and thinking, what makes their sound so distinct, so recognizable that you don't even need to know that it's them? So I started digging, and not just at what they make, but how they think and the creative choices that gives their music an edge. And when I applied those ideas to my own process, I managed to sign my last 2 tracks to a great record label. Not by changing everything, but by making small intentional moves. And by the end of this video, you'll have 3 clear actionable steps to start making your sound uniquely yours. So let's start by looking at what every standout artist has in common. Now the first thing I want to say here is that no artist just plucks their sound out of thin air. Fred again didn't invent sampling, Avicii didn't invent catchy melodies, and Skrillex didn't invent gritty bass lines. But they did all blend sounds in fresh new ways. Fred again took house music and laid it with personal voice notes, UK grime, and some field recordings. Avicii mashed electronic dance music with country folk style songwriting, and Skrillex broke the mold around 2010 by leaning into distortion and chaos while all the rest of the music around that time was sounding really polished. So take a closer look at your favourite artists. What were they doing different from the mainstream at the time when they blew up? There'll usually be one unexpected choice, or one creative decision that set their sound apart. And that choice usually starts with how they combine different sounds. Genre mixing is one of the most common ways that standout artists are born, but it's not about throwing random sounds together. Instead, what you can try is pick one bass genre that you're already in, let's say deep house for example, and then add one foreign ingredient. Maybe it's trap style drums, or jazz chords, cinematic risers, or even vocals in a different language. You don't need to reinvent your entire sound. Just tweak one element to shift it in a new direction. It's just like cooking. You start with something familiar, but one unexpected spice is the reason people remember it. This is another tip that's really powerful if you want to stand out. You first learn how to fit into a certain genre. You nail the structure, the mix, and the vibe that would fit into that scene, and then you break one rule. For example, you could add vocals to a genre that doesn't usually have any. You could use chord progressions that are more emotional and cinematic when the rest of the genre is going quite minimal. Or you could swap in unusual drums, like taking tech house style and putting it in a deep house song. These little tweaks are what make listeners go, wait, what is this? But in a good way, and it makes them want to listen again. Another one I like is flipping the script on traditional sound design in that genre. Now sound design is sometimes one of the most obvious places you might go to when you're trying to create your own unique sound. But for me, making a sound completely from scratch is super overwhelming. And even though I'm alright at sound design, it's not my favourite way to create something unique, because I actually think it's quite technically difficult to do compared to say blending genres. So here's a much simpler approach. Start by studying what's normal in your genre. For example, are the leads always short and plucky? In contrast, you could try a slow attack or a big reverb tail. Are the vocals usually clean and polished? You could run yours through Portal or pitch them up or down, or use granular effects to create something a little bit more rough around the edges. Or what if the bass lines are always simple and mono? You could try adding some stereo width, or layer some kind of weird sound underneath to give it some texture. Basically, what you're trying to ask yourself here is what's expected within this genre. And then you could say, okay, cool, so how am I going to flip one thing and do the opposite? A quick cheat for this tip is that you still don't have to design this from scratch. Start by going out and finding a preset pack for your genre, because these preset packs are made to blend in, not stand out. That's your job to flip that and make it unique to you. So you can use the pack as normal, make something that fits in, and then pick 2 or 3 sounds and flip them in the opposite direction. Crank up the reverb when they're usually dry, add pitch, wobble, or slow LFO movement, detune it, resample it, just mess with it until it feels more like you. Think of your genre as a clean white t-shirt, and your tweaks are one paint splash that says, yep, this one's mine. And the best part is you don't need to be a sound design genius to do this. You just need taste, curiosity, and a little bit of willingness to mess with the rules. So let me know in the comments which tips you found interesting. Is there any that surprised you? And is there any that you're going to try out the next time you're in the studio? This video has been all about your sound, but in the music industry that's only half the picture. The other half is building a story around it, a narrative that makes people care, follow, and remember you. I'm going to be delving further into this in one of my next videos. So if you haven't already, come and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.